Welcome back, I'm Jacq and this is YOGATX. It's a full body stretchy flow, probably my favorite kind because we're just gonna kind of get into everywhere. And I think this is a fun one if I do say so myself. So find a seat that feels comfortable, and really this practice is inspired by one of the Yoga Sutras, which is the guidebook for how to yoga from way back in the day. And the first Yoga Sutra simply says, now begins the practice of yoga. Atta yoga nushasanam. And to me, this is a reminder that anytime, regardless of what's happening in life, we can choose to kind of start over, right? So make a choice right now, whatever time of day you're practicing, choose to be here in your practice and not checking your phone, not making your grocery list, but can we be here? Let's take the palms to flip open. And if you want to sit on a blanket or something, great. Make yourself comfortable to start. Feel like your skull could stack right on top of your pelvis, so the column of your spine is nice and long. Notice your breath as it is right now, so without changing it, which is kind of a hard thing to do. Without changing your breath, can you notice how it is right now? And if your breath feels choppy, see if you can smooth it out. Maybe you're already in the chill zone, and see if you can just keep that going. Now begins the practice. And if you have to remind yourself, now begins the practice like 20 times during just this class, that's fine. Actually, that's great, because you're remembering that you can begin again. Let's take 2 more smooth breaths. Move your breaths in and out through your nose. And if you closed your eyes, let them open. And we'll start by stretching our legs forward. So give your legs a stretch and then just give them a little shake. And if this feels tight on your low back right away, then slip a blanket under your butt just to elevate your hips a little bit. Okay, so it's a listen closely moment right from the start. Stretch your legs forward, but have some space between your heels so your legs aren't smushed together. Sit up nice and tall, flex your feet. So that means your toes move toward your body. And then without moving your heels, bend your knees. So bend your knees without moving your heels. So as if your heels are glued to the mat. And you'll probably feel your pelvis kind of shift forward a little bit. You can see that, I hope. Okay, it's a subtle movement. Okay, now less thinking. Let's breathe again. Arms up, inhale. So with your knees bent, let's take a fold. And I know we're just getting started, so don't strain to go too far. With the knees bent, your lower back is hopefully happier here. Let your chin drop in toward your throat, but imagine your sit bones are moving behind you. And then halfway lift right here. Breathe in. Exhale, breathe out. Hands land wherever they can land. Floor, legs, feet. Halfway lift, breathe in. Breathe out, bow and fold. And as you bow and fold, think forward and down. So you're not just rounding in. Halfway lift, inhale. And then take your left hand to your outer right leg. Twist toward your right, opening your right arm behind you. And you can look at your right arm. And then inhale, send your right arm up. Crisscross your arms. Take your right hand to your left shin or foot, wherever you can reach. Open your left arm behind you, take a twist. Send your left arm up. Crisscross, same thing. See if we can link it up with breath. So inhale here. Exhale to twist, right arm sweeps behind you. Inhale, send your right arm up and over, crisscross. And exhale, twist, left arm comes out behind you. Inhale, left arm up, crisscross, and exhale, twist. Let's go one more time. Don't rush it. So if you're moving faster or slower than me, no prob. Can you watch your right arm this time as it comes up and it comes over? Left arm comes behind you, twisting on your exhale. And then watch your left hand as it comes up and over. And this time, bow. So you have a crisscross of your arms. Bow your head. Let the back of the heart get more space. You still have that good bend in your knees. And then as you inhale, lift your head. Eagle arms. You already have the right arm under, and if you have the other one under, don't worry. We'll just get the other side. Eagle arms, and then sit cross-legged. So simple shift. As you inhale, tip your fingers up and your elbows forward. Look up. As you exhale, round your spine, elbows to belly, chin to throat. So think seated cat and cow. Inhale. And exhale. This time, as you inhale, open your arms wide like you were going to give someone a hug. And take your eagle arms in the other direction. So whichever arm was on the top last time, switch it up. Breathe in. And breathe out. One more time, breathe in. And breathe out. Inhale, open your arms wide. Exhale, take your hands to your knees. Let's take some circles here, just moving the torso on top of the hips. You can make it big, you can make it small. You could get your head involved, letting the neck get a little stretch. And then move it in the other direction. How's your breath? Notice if it's gotten short or if it's gotten quiet. And see if you can keep it at the forefront of your focus. So we're moving, but we're breathing. That's what's most important. All right, slow down your circles, sit up nice and tall, and take your hands behind you. Feet to the ground in front of you, altar pose, lift your butt up. Big breath in. If your neck feels okay, you can let your head fall back. Big breath out. Sink your seat down to the ground. Rock forward, cross your shins. We're coming right into downward facing dog. So plant your hands, step your feet back, lift your seat high, and then find a little bit of free movement. So explore. Every time I come into down dog, it feels like a good moment of now begins the yoga, because I feel like I can empty out my thoughts here as if I could unzip the top of your head. Maybe give your head a shake. All right, so come into downward facing dog, nice and still. Lift your heels a little bit and then bend your knees and send your sit bones higher. So just as we did when we were sitting with the knees bent, sit bones moving up and back behind you, and then let the shoulders move away from the ears. Let the front ribs hug together. Inhale. And exhale. Let's come forward, plank pose. Inhale, shoulders over your wrists. Let your gaze shift forward ever so slightly, as if your eyes and your heart could look forward a few inches in front of you. Take a big breath in, strong legs here. And then breathe out. You can lower knees first or lower in one piece. Bring yourself all the way down onto the mat. Untuck your toes. Pin your elbows to point behind you for cobra pose. Breathe in. And then as you exhale, think forward and down as you let your heart and your forehead come back to the mat. One more just like that. You can come up a little bit higher. Breathe in. And then breathe out, come forward and down. Let's take a wide cobra now. So from here, crawl your hands off of your mat so they come wide, and then lift your elbows so your elbows are above your wrists. Notice I'm on fingertips. Inhale, lift your chest. And then exhale, dip your right shoulder to the center and look over your left shoulder. Inhale, rise back through center. Same thing, other side, breathe it out. Let's go one more time each side. Breathe in and breathe out. Inhale and exhale. Come back up through center, and this is kind of like an exaggerated laying the heart forward and down so you feel the spine nice and long. Stretch your left arm forward. So just stretch it forward toward the top of your mat and roll onto your left side. Take your right hand in front of you, and first just find your balance. Flex your feet. If you're cool here, take your right hand to your hip. You could also take your left hand to your head, and then you're in a sexy beach pose. It's not what it's called. It's actually called Vishnu's couch, which is funny because this is actually work to find your balance here. You're not just chilling on the couch. Stay or take a tree pose with your right leg. So right knee will bend, right foot comes to left thigh. Notice the hand in front of you is like a kickstand, so it will help you find your balance. But I encourage you to try it because if you fall over, you're already on the ground, right? Doesn't matter. Take one more breath in and then breathe out. Keep the legs, come onto your belly just like cobra pose. So you have tree legs, cobra pose. Inhale, lift up. And then exhale, lay your heart forward and down. Lengthen your right leg behind you, child's pose. Roll over your knees, take the knees wide, sink hips to heels. Big breath in. Let it go, breathe out. Inhale through hands and knees, and then exhale, downward facing dog. Take your hips up and back. Remembering to lift the heels and bend the knees today. Lift your sit bones higher. Imagine your hamstrings could lift higher behind you. Plank pose, breathe in. Let's stay this time, breathe out. So lengthen your legs. Imagine your inner ankles could stretch behind you and the tips of your ears stretch forward. Take one more big breath in. Breathe out, lower yourself down. You can lower in one piece or drop your knees first. Wide cobra, let's go right for that. So tent your fingers off your mat. Lift elbows above your wrists, strong legs as you inhale. We'll dip the left shoulder first this time and look over to the right. Rise on up, breathe in. Dip, look toward your left. Rise up, breathe in. Lay your heart forward and down as you breathe out. Stretch your right arm forward. Roll onto your right side. So we'll find our balance, or we'll try. So start with your right ear on your arm. You can have your left hand in front of you like a kickstand. If you're cool here, try lifting up your head. Rest your head in your hand. Next step, tree legs. Flex your right foot, that's the leg that's on the floor, and imagine you're pressing it down into the ground. That'll actually help you stabilize a little bit. You can take your right hand to your right hip, if you can balance. I can't, or bring it back to the floor. Let's take one more big breath in, and then breathe out. Come on onto your belly, keep your legs as they are. Cobra pose with tree legs. Breathe in to lift up. Exhale, heart comes forward and down. Lengthen your right and left leg behind you. Child's pose, roll over the knees. Take a reset breath there. Breathe in, big breath out. Okay, so similar flow and we'll just add on. Downward dog, let's meet there. Tuck your toes, lift your hips nice and high. Take a full breath in. Sit bones reach high, breathe out. Imagine your arms could grow longer in front of you. Plank pose, inhale. Let's lower all the way down to the belly, exhale. Stretch your left arm forward and roll onto your left side. This time, let's keep the head resting on the arm. So press your left arm down. Press your left leg down and then find tree leg with your right leg. So stay here, great. Or take your right hand to your right knee, which means you lift your foot off your leg. So you find a little extra balance. Or, if you really want to give it a go here, lengthen your right leg. And you could take your hand behind your leg, or maybe you can reach your big toe. Keep pressing like crazy through your left arm and your left leg. Those are the ones that are touching the floor. Let's take one more big breath in. Breathe out. At the bottom of your exhale, start to bend your right knee. Come back into your tree leg. Come onto your belly with tree legs. Cobra pose. Breathe in. Breathe out. Let it go. Take your right leg long behind you. Child's pose. Knees wide. Breathe out your mouth here. Downward dog. So inhale to rise and then exhale to lift your hips high. Pause here, inhale, and exhale. Now you kind of know where we're headed for the second side. Plank pose, breathe in. Don't overthink it. Just feel the body move. Lower as you exhale. Right arm will stretch forward. Roll onto your right side. And then keeping the head down this time, press a lot through your top arm and your bottom leg. And then find tree legs. Left foot, this time on top of your right inner thigh. Stay here if this is enough for you, or reach your left hand for your left knee. So you'll have to send the knee into the hand. Notice I'm still flexing my left foot, so nothing's gone to sleep. If you can breathe still, extend your left leg. So remember, like if you notice yourself holding your breath, and that's probably a cue to back off. So maybe you can reach the big toe. Maybe you can take the hand behind the leg. Are you breathing? Now begins the yoga. If you lost your breath, you can start again. Take one more inhale. Stay for your exhale. And then at the bottom of your breath, start to bend your left knee. Put your left foot inside your right thigh, roll onto your belly, cobra with your funny tree legs. Inhale to lift up. Exhale, lay your heart forward and down. Child's pose, big toes close, knees nice and wide, sink it back. Take a big breath in, and a big breath out. And then tiptoe your fingertips toward your knees, sit up on your heels, and shift your weight to one side just so you can send your legs forward in front of you. And come all the way onto your back. So center yourself on your mat. You can bring your hands behind the legs to help you roll on down. Take a full body stretch, arms overhead, legs long. Breathe in and really stretch long. Breathe out. Let's get a twist. So draw your right knee into your chest. First, just hug the knee in. And you can scoot your hips over to the right. That'll give you a little more space to twist right knee over to the left. You could open your right arm to the right. You can stay just as you are, or look over your right arm. Might be a nice place to let the eyes close, to let the body come into a little more ease, to let the mind come into a little more ease. And if you are like me and the slow poses are where your mind gets faster, then just know that that's okay. And watching your breath can be helpful. So bring your head back to center. So your eyes look up at the ceiling or the sky, and then roll onto your back. Step your right foot to the ground and then your left foot to the ground too. Bring your hips back through center. Hands to low belly. Full breath in. Open mouth, exhale. Scoot your hips to your left. Draw your right leg long, left knee into chest, and first just give it a little squeeze. Let your left knee come over to the right. Twisting on an exhale, open your left arm to the left. You can stay, or to move the twist a little higher into the spine and neck, gaze over your left hand. Watching the breath means feeling, sensing, or even visualizing your breath coming in and your breath coming out. Let your gaze come back up to neutral. Back of head is on the mat. Roll onto your back. Step left foot, step right foot. Scoot your butt back through center, and then heel toe your feet as wide as your mat or wider. Turn your toes in and let your knees knock together. Let's take the hands to the lower belly again. We'll use this constructive rest pose as our final resting pose. If you wear glasses like me, take your specs off. It's just another signal to the body that this is time to rest. Hatha Yoga Nushasanam. Now begins our practice. Rest as long as you're able to. Remembering that rest is actually getting something done. And if you are ready to close your practice, start to wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes. You can open and close your knees a couple times. And then roll over onto your side and hit the pause button one more time. In the fetal position, just let your body weight sink into the ground. So you're not in a rush. Press yourself up to a seat, take your time. Sit up tall, don't rush your closing. Let's take the palms open in this gesture of being open to whatever life brings. Knowing that we can turn to our practice at any time, now begins the yoga. Soften your eyelids. Let's take 2 closing breaths. Big breath in. Big breath out. Hands to a prayer. Big breath in. Big breath out. You can open your eyes if you closed them. Thank you for making your practice a priority. Follow along with me on Instagram at mindfulish. Let me know if you like this video in the comments below, and I will see you for the next one.